All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to be taking a look at the Canadian construction industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine you're about to start a construction project.
Okay.
Maybe you're dreaming of building your own house, or you want to renovate a space, or you're involved with a larger scale development.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, but also a little daunting.
For sure.
Yeah, so we're going to try to give you a little bit more of an understanding of this complex world today, kind of highlighting the key players and all their roles.
Yeah.
And just to give you a little taste of some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, did you know there are specific organizations that manage construction bids
Really?
to make sure everything is fair,
Interesting.
or that the industry has its own language of standards and codes? It's a whole,
Wow, that's amazing.
a whole world.
Yeah. So, when you look at the Canadian construction industry, it's actually huge.
Okay.
It contributes about 7% of Canada's GDP. Over 1 million people work in construction.
Yeah.
So it's a major player in our economy.
Wow, 1 million people. I knew it was big, but that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
And within that massive industry,
Mm-hmm.
there's two main branches, right?
Exactly. We've got building construction.
Okay.
That's kind of what everyone thinks of when they think of construction homes, offices, schools,
Yeah.
all those structures we use every day.
Yeah, the stuff we see.
And then there's heavy civil works construction, which is like those big, massive infrastructure projects.
Okay.
Bridges, highways, dams,
Like the real big stuff.
the real big stuff.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get into that today.
So today, we're focusing more on like the building construction.
Yeah,
That's what most people would be interacting with
exactly.
in their lives.
Yeah, day to day.
So to understand how that works, we're going to break down the key players in it all.
Okay.
And, we always hear about like the supply chain.
Yeah.
But who are these people? Like, what do their roles actually look like?
So there's 6 main groups involved.
Okay.
We've got the owners,
Okay.
and they're the ones with the vision,
Yeah, the ones commissioning the project.
But they're commissioning the project. They're the driving force behind it all.
Yeah.
Then you've got the designers.
Okay.
So these are your architects, engineers, and all the other creative minds that turn those visions
Yeah.
into blueprints and plans.
Yeah. The ones who are doing the ideas into something real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're the ones making sure the building is not only functional,
Yeah.
but it also looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's got to look good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the visionaries and the artists.
Yep.
Who comes next in this little construction dance?
Next up are the constructors.
Okay.
They're the boots on the ground,
Yeah.
making it all happen.
It's the action.
Yeah. So, your general contractors, subcontractors, all the different skilled tradespeople,
It's a lot of people.
bringing those designs
Yeah.
to life,
Yeah.
brick by brick.
It's amazing to think about all those different skills kind of all coming together
It is.
to work on one project.
It's quite a collaboration.
But it's not just those 3 groups calling all the shots, is it?
No. We also have the authorities having jurisdiction,
Okay.
and they make sure everything's up to code,
Mm-hmm.
that it's meeting safety regulations.
Right. Yeah.
They're like the guardians of the building standards,
Yeah.
making sure that everything is safe and sound.
Well, yeah, safety is like paramount, especially on a construction site.
Absolutely.
Who else is in this whole intricate network?
You've also got the advisory and advocacy organizations,
Okay.
and they kind of act like the support system for the industry.
Right.
They provide resources.
Okay.
They set standards.
Mhm.
They advocate for the industry's interests.
Okay.
They help keep things running smoothly.
So they're like the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other key players we need to be aware of?
There's one more group, and we can't forget about them.
Okay.
These are the other design construction industry players.
Okay.
They're the people involved in the financing
Right.
real estate research.
Okay.
All those behind-the-scenes roles that really help to make a project happen.
Wow. Okay. So it's quite the cast of characters,
It is.
like a whole ecosystem
Yeah.
working together.
It really is, yeah.
But for someone who's brand new to all this construction stuff,
Mm.
I think the 3 that feel the most important would be like the owners, the designers, and the
Right.
constructors.
Yeah, those are the ones you interact with most.
Yeah.
And understanding those roles is pretty key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start with the owners.
Okay.
It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
They're the ones that want the building built.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything else to it?
Well, there's always more to it, right?
Right. Okay.
So the owners, they own or lease the land. They have a vision for the project.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's actually a difference between the owner and the client. The
Ah.
client's the one that's hiring the architect
Okay.
and other professionals.
Okay.
So sometimes they are the same person,
Yeah.
but not always.
Okay. So you could have like a developer as the client,
Yes.
but the actual owner could be like a separate investment company.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that distinction can be really important when it comes to like contracts and
Mhm.
responsibilities.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
it kind of highlights the importance of, you know,
Yeah.
having those crystal clear agreements.
Right from the start.
Right from the start.
Okay, so let's move on to the designers.
Oh, okay.
We all know what an architect is,
Mm-hmm.
but who else falls under that umbrella?
Well, the architect actually often acts as the prime consultant
Okay.
for the design team,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a whole range of specialists that kind of support them. You know, you've got your structural engineers, making
Mhm.
sure that the building won't fall down.
Right.
Your interior designers
Okay.
that make those beautiful spaces we see in magazines.
Mm-hmm. All the pretty stuff.
It's like a whole team of experts,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
bringing their own piece of the puzzle to the table.
Wow. Yeah.
That's where things can get a bit tricky.
okay.
The more specialists involved,
Mm-hmm.
the more important it is to have that good communication
Yeah.
and coordination.
Yeah. You don't want anyone stepping on each other's toes.
No, you want everyone working in sync.
Right.
The good architect is kind of like a conductor, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
making sure everyone's playing in harmony. So now let's talk about the people who make it all happen,
Yes.
the constructors.
It is. This is where it gets exciting.
This is where the action is.
For anyone who's ever wondered how a building actually gets built,
Mm-hmm.
there's actually different types of constructors,
Okay.
and they all have their own approach,
Yeah.
you know?
You've got your general contractors,
Huh?
you've got your design builders,
Okay.
and then you've got your construction managers.
Hold on a second. What is the difference between those three?
It's a common question.
Yeah.
So a general contractor, that's kind of the more traditional model.
Okay.
They bid on a project based on the architect's design.
Okay.
They take on that financial risk,
Mm-hmm.
and then they manage all the subcontractors and tradespeople
To get it done.
to get it done.
Okay, so if I hire a general contractor, they're like my one-stop shop
Exactly.
for the whole process.
Yeah, they handle everything from
From
hiring the plumbers to
Yeah.
ordering the drywall.
Okay.
But sometimes a different approach might be better,
Okay.
depending on the project.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so if a general contractor isn't the right fit,
Mm-hmm.
what are my other options?
Well, there's the design build approach.
Yeah.
And with this model, one company will handle both the design
Okay.
and the construction. They often actually have architects and engineers on staff,
Oh, wow. Okay.
so it can streamline the process.
Okay, so if I'm looking for simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a good way to go.
It could be, yeah.
Are there any downsides to going with a design builder?
It really depends on the project.
Okay.
Some people feel that having both the design and construction under one roof can sometimes limit creativity or lead to those cost-cutting measures
Wow.
that impact quality.
Yeah, okay.
So it's important to do your research
Yeah.
and choose a design builder that has a really solid reputation.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So what was that third option you mentioned?
The third option is to bring in a construction manager. They'll act like your advisor, basically, and
Yeah.
they help you navigate that whole construction process so they can provide input on everything from budget, scheduling,
Okay.
choosing the right contractors.
So they're like my construction wingman.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Especially helpful for those large or complex projects where you need that extra level of expertise.
Yeah, someone to hold your hand
It's
a little bit.
Yeah.
This is all super helpful.
Good.
I'm starting to see how the different pieces of the puzzle fit together.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about all the skilled tradespeople
Yes.
who actually do the work.
They do the work, yeah.
Carpenters, electricians,
yeah.
plumbers, all that stuff.
They're the backbone of the industry,
Yeah.
and their skills are often developed through this unique system
Okay.
of apprenticeships
Okay.
and journeyman training.
Apprenticeships, like medieval times.
It's actually a very similar concept. Young people learn their trade from, experienced professionals.
Mm.
They gain hands-on experience.
Okay.
They work their way up the ranks, you
Yeah.
know. It's a system that's been around for centuries.
Wow.
It's still going strong today.
That's amazing to think about the level of craftsmanship and expertise that goes into, like, every building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the people on site either.
No.
It's that whole other world of manufacturers
Yes.
and suppliers behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Companies that produce everything from the concrete and steel
Yeah.
to the windows, doors, and all the fancy appliances we love.
So how do they all fit into this puzzle?
Well, first of all, they have to make sure that their products meet all the necessary codes and standards.
Yeah.
And this is where those authorities having jurisdiction we talked about earlier come in.
Okay.
So they're kind of like the quality control inspectors,
All
making
right.
sure everything's up to snuff.
Yeah, that everything's good to go.
They enforce building codes
Right.
to ensure the safety and quality of the construction materials and methods.
Hey,
And on top of that, manufacturers are always innovating,
really?
coming up with new technologies
Right.
and materials to make the buildings more efficient
Okay.
and sustainable.
If I'm being honest, I never really thought about the innovation
Yeah.
side of construction.
Mm.
It always seemed pretty traditional to me.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Yeah.
But there is actually a ton of research and development going on
Okay.
behind the scenes. Think about things like smart home technology,
Yeah.
energy-efficient windows,
Yeah.
new types of insulation.
That's right.
It's constantly evolving.
That's really cool.
It is.
You don't really think about how much goes into this stuff that you take for granted.
Yeah, all those everyday things.
Yeah.
And speaking of things we often take for granted, let's not forget about the financial side of construction.
Okay.
Bonding and insurance companies
Yeah.
play a crucial role.
Yeah.
They're providing that financial security and
Yeah.
protection.
So why are bonds and insurance so important?
Well, imagine you're an owner
Okay.
and the contractor you hire goes bankrupt
Oh,
halfway through the project.
that's bad.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
A bond will protect you financially
Okay.
and ensure that the project can actually be completed, even if the original contractor can't.
So it's like a safety net for the owner.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Making sure they don't get left holding the bag.
Right.
And then insurance protects everyone involved
Oh.
from financial losses due to things like accidents, property damage, or even lawsuits.
Okay, so it sounds like bonds and insurance are like must-haves
They are.
for any construction project.
No matter how carefully you plan, there's always that possibility of unforeseen circumstances.
Right. Things happen.
Things happen.
Yeah.
And having that right coverage can really make all the difference.
Okay, so we've got the owners, designers, constructors,
Mm-hmm.
manufacturers, suppliers, and like even the financial side of things.
Yep.
Is there anyone else we need to know about in this whole construction ecosystem?
There is one more group that plays a pretty crucial role, and we mentioned them earlier.
Right?
Those advisory and advocacy organizations.
Okay.
They're the behind-the-scenes players
Yeah.
working to support the industry and make sure that everything is running smoothly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are some of these organizations?
Well, on a national level, you've got the Canadian Construction Association,
Okay.
or CCA for short,
Okay.
and they're the voice of the industry across Canada.
Okay.
They advocate for the interests of over 20,000 companies
Wow.
and individuals.
So they're kind of like the lobby group.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
They work with the government on policy issues.
Okay.
They promote best practices.
Mm.
They help shape the future of the industry.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about like on a more regional level?
On a regional level, you also have provincial and territorial construction associations,
Oh.
as well as local ones.
Okay.
And they connect and support builders at, more of a grassroots level,
Okay.
offering networking opportunities, training programs, and resources tailored to their specific regions.
It's great to know that they're supported at every level.
Yeah.
What about organizations that focus on like a particular type of construction?
Yeah. So
Like, let's say residential buildings.
you've got the Canadian Home Builders Association,
Okay.
or CHBA.
Okay.
They represent thousands of companies involved in building and renovating homes across Canada.
Oh.
They're a pretty powerful voice for the residential construction sector.
So if I'm like planning to build my dream house, I should check out the CHBA.
Absolutely. They're a great resource for homeowners,
Okay.
offering information on everything from choosing a builder
Mhm.
to understanding building codes.
Yeah.
They even have award programs
Oh, wow.
recognizing excellence in home building.
Wow. I'm really impressed by all these organizations
Yeah,
working to support the industry.
it's great.
But are there ever any like clashes between them?
Well, like in any industry, there's sometimes differing opinions and priorities.
Right.
So for example, a contractors association might push for policies that really benefit their members,
Yeah.
even if those policies don't align with, say, the goals of an environmental group.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
there's many different stakeholders in the industry, and each of them have their own agenda.
Yeah.
So it's a complex web of relationships.
Yeah.
And sometimes those relationships can get a little tangled.
This is so fascinating.
Good.
I'm starting to see the construction industry in a whole new light.
Yeah.
It's not just about the bricks and the mortar. It's a whole system with all these moving parts.
It is, yeah.
And one of the most important parts of that system is safety.
Absolutely. You know, construction can be a pretty dangerous industry.
Right.
It's crucial to have measures in place to protect workers and the public.
So what kind of systems are we talking about here?
So every province and territory has a workplace safety and insurance board.
Okay.
Sometimes called Workers' Compensation Board.
Okay.
And these boards provide a safety net for workers that get injured on the job. Right.
So it ensures they're receiving the medical care and compensation that they need?
So if a worker gets hurt, they're covered, even if their employer doesn't have, like, adequate insurance?
In most cases, yes.
Okay.
The system is designed to protect the workers.
Okay.
Regardless of their employer's financial situation.
Okay, well, that's reassuring to know.
It is.
But it's not just about, like, providing compensation after an accident happens, right?
Well, they're all also those proactive efforts
to
prevent those accidents from happening in the first place.
Okay, what does that look like?
So that's where the construction safety associations come in.
Okay.
These organizations are dedicated to promoting safe work practices, providing training programs, conducting research, and advocating for those safer construction sites.
Right, okay.
So their goal is to reduce the number of accidents and make the industry as safe as possible.
Well, it's great to know that there are organizations that are, like, specifically focused on that. Yes.
On keeping construction sites safe.
Yeah.
But it's not just the workers that need to be aware of the CICC regulations.
No.
Right.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Architects, engineers, anyone involved in the design and management, they have a responsibility to make sure safety is a top priority.
So they need to be familiar with the regulations.
Yes.
And make sure everyone on site is following them.
Exactly.
What else can they do to make sure that the work environment is safe?
They can work closely with those construction safety associations.
Okay.
You know, implement best practices, conduct regular safety inspections, and really create a culture of safety.
Okay.
Where everyone feels comfortable speaking up.
Right.
If they see something that's risky.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's really important.
So building that culture of safety is just as important as having the right rules and regulations in place.
Yeah, when everyone's committed to safety, it becomes ingrained in the way things are done. And that's when you see real progress.
It's amazing how much we've uncovered about the Canadian construction industry.
It is, yeah.
We've gone from the big picture, like that 7% contribution to Canada's GDP, all the way down to the details of safety regulations.
Yes.
And the importance of a safety culture.
It really shows how much goes into creating the buildings we see around us every day.
Yeah.
It's an industry that I think is often overlooked. Yeah. But it really touches every aspect of our lives.
It's true.
Yeah.
And for our listeners out there who are thinking about tackling a construction project, you know, whether it's building a house, renovating their kitchen, or even just adding a deck, what are some, like, key takeaways they should keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, do your research.
Okay.
Understand the different players involved, you know, from the designers to the contractors.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
A little bit of knowledge can go a long way.
Yeah, that's good advice for anything in life.
Yes.
Ask questions. Yeah, I remember when I was renovating my bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed by all the choices.
Right.
All the technical jargon.
It's like you're speaking a whole other language.
I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's crucial to find those professionals that you trust.
Yes.
Who can explain things in a way that you understand.
In plain language.
Yeah, I'm like, use small words.
Exactly.
And don't be afraid to interview multiple contractors or designers before making a decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to find the right fit.
Yeah, you got to do your due diligence.
And don't forget about those advisory and advocacy organizations we talked about earlier.
But a wealth of information and resources.
Yeah, the CHBA, for example, has tons of resources on their website.
They do.
To help homeowners navigate the construction process.
And they even have checklists and guides to help you stay organized and on track.
So if I'm hearing you right, preparation is key.
Preparation is key, yes.
Do your research. Ask lots of questions. Find those professionals that can guide you through the process.
Exactly. And remember, communication is essential throughout the whole project.
Right.
Stay in touch with your contractor. Keep them updated on any changes.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to voice any concerns you might have.
Okay.
It's a partnership after all.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to be on the same page.
To make sure it's a success.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. That's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Canadian construction. We hope you learned some valuable insights today and that you feel a bit more confident about tackling your next building project. Happy building, everyone.
Happy building.